Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Bozzy Builds. This week we're finishing up our beautiful woodland station for the Basin Spring Coaster. For those that are new to the channel, this is an extension of my Eureka Springs theme park, a place I grew up in for a while, and one that I thought would be the perfect first recreation for me to tackle in Planet Coaster 2. Truthfully, this is all going to be less of a theme park and more of a reimagining. With this episode, we're delving deeper into the forest, where our guests are having to hike quite a hefty incline to ride the first and only coaster in the park. But I like making them work for it. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the video, and let's get to building. Alright, I know I said this episode would be a detailed time-lapse of the trail and the forest below, but I think we're going to get to a bunch of nature time-lapses in the future, and I say we move onward and upward. Quite literally. So we're going for an all-wooden station to blend well within the forest. Fairly sizable building that we can see into. I'm keeping the wood pretty faded in color and even recolorized the coaster to look more natural because it was looking pretty red. I imagined a line of arched windows going around the whole station, and I really love that the pieces allow me to do this. Creates a much more open space. Feels really classic. I was hesitant using these Viking columns, and I almost went with just regular logs because I don't want it coming across too Scandinavian, but I do like the texture, and there are elements of varied character and detail throughout Eureka, so I like how these kind of end up looking within the whole image. And then reiterating for those that are just joining the channel, but this specific building is not a real-life location. The mountain is in actual downtown Eureka Springs, Arkansas, is all woodland. This whole area is just woods, and the coaster is sort of a whimsical addition for the area and a backdrop to the Basin Spring below, so to speak. So I don't know, I'm really pleased with how this is all turning out, and I'm just really in love with the general composition of the building, nestled into the mountainside. I was really aiming for it to be present but not prominent, and I think the sizing and everything works really well. Getting closer to it up the mountain is kind of reminding me of something Hogwartish, like the lake house or something. It is very Hogwarts meets Arkansas, which I'm all about. So yeah, this isn't a real building, but I designed it off the buildings in the area. The basic pieces that we get in the game and the Viking pieces are all holding up pretty well for my Arkansas aesthetic that I'm going for. There are the little details on the support columns, the scales, but I think as long as I avoid the dragon heads, it doesn't go too far down that direction. I do think it's a fine line, and this could start coming off like a Viking theme quite easily depending on what I use. We are about a little over, from right now, a week away from getting the Western pack added, and I'm still kind of in disbelief that this is happening, at least so soon. I'm really excited. I would have thought that we would have started getting these around summer or so this is just a really nice, pleasant surprise. It begs the question though, are we going to get all 200 pieces from the original game? And will they be optimized and all scalable, like all the new pieces? If so, this is just really going to revolutionize this park. It really needs that touch of Western charm, and I will definitely be taking the time to update some of the new current build over the course of the next few weeks, which really isn't all that much. And here I went with a simple aged roof that I eventually layer about 3 together to kind of thicken up. I had to build this adjacent frame manually with individual timber pieces so the framework wouldn't stick out in the interior. I will say, as a beginner YouTuber, online gamer, showcaser, I have not been moving as fast as I had initially hoped, and I hope that's okay. I aimed very, very high and went strong right off the bat. The weekly upload attempt has been challenging to achieve, as I'm currently onboarding for 2 new jobs, and YouTube, while it doesn't feel like work, it definitely takes the time investment of another job. So it just feels like I'm tackling a lot of new things at once, which is honestly very exciting. But until I synthesize all these kind of newer responsibilities with each other and my home life, a weekly upload might not be in the cards every week, at least right now, but I am super confident that I'm going to get there. Because it's really not a matter of if I want to be building. I know and sympathize with those that have or can get building fatigue and burnout, lack of inspiration. I can get rare, bouts of that, but nothing that really doesn't clear up in about a week. I can build for incredibly long periods if I let myself. There's so many things I want to build and recreate, so it's really kind of an endless list. And that's why I really just genuinely have to stop and kind of like set designated building times throughout my week. Otherwise, I will go into all hours of the night, if any of you can understand. Right now, while I know one logical thing to do in terms of my video success would be to ensure getting a video out every week, I want to make sure first and foremost that my park and my videos are good. I don't want to sacrifice my workflow or quality progression just to get out content. The algorithm is really tough right now, as many of you I'm sure can understand, but I'm sticking to some creative principles. I'm trying to channel my energy and efforts into making my stuff as good as it can be rather than wasting away worrying if content will perform well. I really miss the days of the internet being a creative playground where we don't have to feel directed by numbers and popularity standards. I contemplated diverting from this series a bit to build a landmark or a place that's a bit more widely known, something that might get more views, but then that detracts and I think, deludes the focus I have for this series, which is at the core of my heart and something that inspires me to build in the first place. I miss creating for the sake of creativity, I guess. I am continuously optimizing my video workflow, so I do think I'll be able to get out videos a lot faster very shortly. So thanks for everyone's patience and for joining along. These Viking wall decorations, the arch trim pieces, work perfectly with this, and I really just kind of discovered them in the moment right here. I'm not going for a heavy theme on the interior here, mostly just a lot of faded wood and subtle details in the paneling. I want it to feel old, but well taken care of. And I really love this indoor framework. I think I did a pretty good job. It ended up looking pretty nice. I love seeing all the trees through the archways too. It looks very peaceful and feels very Eureka. And now for some interior lighting. Getting those hues right is so important. And then because I want some more visual context for the station, I'm going to go ahead and start the station front sign. Just a fairly simple logo. And as for most of my text, I will layer these pieces on top of one another just ever so slightly as to create more of a 3D effect. And I'll add a little highlight behind as well. Just copy another version of the text and then I raise it a little bit, put it to one side. Looks like it's a little highlight. And it just adds a little pop. And now I get to the balcony and plaza. Really fill this out, which I really think starts to shape up this whole landscape area. I ended up having the path extend out to this corner with a little octagonal extension. I think that looks good. Now I will get started on the foundation of the building, which I'm going to go with more of these beautiful Viking wall pieces. They're just so realistic. I love them. It really helps tie the building in with the landscape. Again, as I've mentioned in previous videos, for the top of the mountain here, I'm going for this tall, canopied, enchanted forest feel. I'm applying plenty of stone detailing under our deck, balcony, and tons of Scots pines all around to keep us in that Ozarkian realm. I really love these pines, like they look so nice, and just scaling them, I can just make them look so just versatile, and I don't think I could achieve the Arkansas aesthetic without these pines, to be honest. And I had originally imagined a single elevated rickety wooden pathway kind of weaving its way over to the coaster station with a big steep drop down. So I like how this looks, but looking at it now, I'll probably cover all this cement on the path with some wood paneling, as well as add some wobbly looking supports underneath once I continue to fill out the mountain. Because if I'm going for such a natural aesthetic, the white cement under the pathways really kind of takes you out of it. and I want this to resemble an actual wooden walkway. I really would appreciate that in a future update, like a path type that just looks like wood when it's elevated, just wooden structure, no cement, or at least an invisible path. I did just today discover Taggy's video of tutorial creating invisible elevated paths, which I had not seen until right now. So if I had seen that, I probably would have done that with this section, but I think because I don't want to go back and have to re-edit it, the way to do the invisible paths is kind of, you have to finagle it, and then I've already kind of done all the landscape here, so I think I'm just going to add some paneling. And this brings us to finishing up the end of our coaster trail, so I more appropriately connect this path here with a small staircase and have the path weave around some natural barriers, and then we'll fill up some of our foliage, make it look really natural. I really love the combination of all these ash trees, pines, and I'm still discovering the usability of so many pieces in this game. I don't know why I have yet to place a single arrowhead bush, because they've been in all the games, but yeah, these are great for this kind of environment. So started using these, fill out this area, the background area. And I think finishing up the top part of this mountain has really solidified my terrain usage and what I want to use for the whole Ozark aesthetic in this build. And yeah, and then I really just go ham. This is where I can really just go. I love filling out natural landscapes, foliage, trees, rock textures into the ground. And don't get me wrong, I love the new scenery brush tool. It's super helpful when trying to fill out large expanses or backgrounds to kind of contextualize your area of focus, but I really revel in the inch by inch detailing and all the manicuring. I genuinely have to stop myself, say no more. But I do really think it shows in everyone's work when it's done as such. Creates a much, much better sense of realism. And also continuing my rhododendrons up the mountaintop. In my head, they're hydrangeas. But alas, I really like the accent that they give in the park. Anyways, yeah, I hope you guys like it. That about wraps up this week's episode. I hope you guys are enjoying the expansion of my Eureka Springs theme park. I have an official roadmap for this Eureka project, tentatively 30 episodes. So yeah, a lot of builds down the way. Tune into the next video where I'll be heading back down to Main Street and implementing some new Western pieces and theming with our new update, as well as possibly starting my first coaster challenge. If you're still here, thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, give a shout out below in the comments if you're feeling it, and have a great week. Yeah, take care, everybody.